the light that leads the blind to see. Voice of the word, voice for the good, voice of the whole, voice of the need, voice of the word, TV.
VWTV, ang telebisyon nga may misyon.
Voice of the word, TV.
The 122nd regular session shall call to order. Let us all stand for the opening prayer. The Honorable SK President, kindly people pray, and our national.
Let us go ourselves in the presence of the Lord, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Dear Lord, we offer this gathering to you and ask that you bless it to the wisdom and grace. We ask you for this opportunity to be together to bring our love and service of you in the future. We ask you to enlighten our minds to know what is true and just, and strengthen our ears to carry out faithfully what we come to see as our duties. May our thoughts, words, and actions be directed to making your name and your love better known among manifest for their sanctification and their happiness here in eternity. Amen. In the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Bayang magiliw, peras ng silanganan, alam ng puso, sa ngiti mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyang ka ng magiging, sa manlulupi, di ka masisingil, sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong bahaw, ay ilan ang ulan, awit sa paglayang nilalang, ang isang ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagiging, ang bituin ng araw niya kailan pa ay magiging, lupa ng araw ng maraming konsinta, ko'y hayangin sa likod. Aming ligaya na may mamapit, matatay ng dahil sa'yo.
The Honorable Vice kindly lead the councilors.
Councilors Creed. I am a Philippine Councilor,
I am a Philippine Councilor,
mandated by law to enact measures and ordinances
mandated by law to enact measures and ordinances
that redound to the general welfare of my constituents
that redound to the general welfare of my constituents,
and their pursuit for happiness, peace, and prosperity.
and their pursuit for happiness, peace, and prosperity.
I believe in public service above self,
I believe in public service above self,
as the guiding principles of my official acts,
as a guiding principle of my official acts,
and as I tread the pathways of my local legislation.
and as I tread the pathways of local legislation.
May the Almighty guide my mind and heart,
May the Almighty guide my mind and heart,
that I shall be true to my constituents and the Filipino people.
that I shall be true to my constituents and the Filipino people.
Mr. Secretary, will you please call the
Honorable Emman Tiu Sonco,
Present.
Honorable Lyra Present, Honorable Dr. Katrina Anacta-Sadac,
Present.
Honorable Lyra Limbauan,
Present.
Honorable Atty. Kathlyn,
Present.
Honorable Engineer Arago, Honorable Melcho,
Present.
Honorable Emman Tiu Sonco, Honorable Atty. Melcho, Honorable Court Priority, Honorable Grace Scott,
Present.
Honorable Agda, Honorable Atty. Lyra Anacta. Mr. Presiding Officer, electing Steve members of present is not performing.
Yeah, Mr. Secretary, for the record, I was informed by the PCL President and IPC President that we are at provincial capital. So it's an official business. So as attested by our Secretary that there are 11 members present, the Chair hereby declares that we have a quorum. Next item, Mr. Secretary.
Approve of the order of business.
The minimum for you.
Honorable Presiding Officer, since we have no other urgent business that was submitted to the Sangguniang Panlungsod, I therefore move that we pass and approve our order of business.
Objections? None? So the order of business for today is hereby approved. Next item, Mr. Secretary.
Reading consideration of the minutes of regular session held on February 2, 2020.
Okay, so the minutes was emailed to you again by our Secretary. So any comments, corrections, suggestions? Alright, so Madam Clerk.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I move for the approval of the minutes of our regular session held last February 11, 2020.
Second motion.
Any objections? None? So the minutes from February 11, 2022 is hereby approved. Next item, Mr. President.
February 2.
February
February 2.
Oh yes, February. Next item, committee report. We have Committee on Disaster Management, Public Order and Safety regarding the prohibition of the use of drones in the vicinity.
So the Committee on Public Order, Representative,
Vice Chair.
Committee report. The Borongan BJMP has submitted 2 requests regarding the enactment of ordinances to ensure the safety and security of the facility by prohibiting the use of drones within the immediate vicinity of the facility and the prohibition and regulation of contrabands or materials that can be brought into the facility. The committee held a meeting last Feb 9, 2022 at the CitySession Hall to deliberate on this request. The members of the Committee on Public Utilities was also invited to the meeting. The following were the findings of the meeting. 1. It was agreed to tackle 2 proposals in the same committee since they involve the security and safety issues of the same facility. 2. The requests are very significant to ensuring the safety and security of the facility, including that of the PNP and AFP facilities, since drones can be used for espionage or dropping of contrabands. Honorable Engineer Melcho Arago even mentioned that this could be used to drop explosives. The prepared adoption of existing ordinances on the subject matters at hand were scrutinized by the present members of the BJMP and the committee. The ordinances were found to be sufficient with regards to the request of the BJMP, except that with regards to Section 5 of the proposed ordinance on the prohibition of drones, which discuss on the exemptions on the prohibition. Section 5, Exemption. This ordinance shall not cover law enforcement agencies, emergency management offices, rescue units, and those duly authorized by the LGU in coordination to the concerned institutions, provided, however, that a permit shall be secured prior to the operation of the drone inside the restricted area of the facilities. The matter on which agency shall issue the permit on the operation of drones inside the restricted area of the facilities. It was agreed that the concerned facility where the drone would be allowed to enter its airspace shall be issued the required permit. For NSP Bajola, however, mentioned that the exemption shall only be for the purpose stated in the proposed ordinance as stated in the same section above, such as for the activities of law enforcement agencies, emergency management offices, rescue units, and those duly authorized by the LGU. Aside from minor grammatical errors, there were no more additional comments made with regards to the proposed ordinance. The committee hereby moves for the approval of these minutes of the committee meetings.
What interests? Okay, Session 2. Sige, continue.
The committee hereby recommends to remand back to the committee for further discussion and public hearing.
Second.
Objection? So, refer back to the committee. Second, Mr. Chair.
Committee on Transportation regarding the proposed amendment of ordinance number 166 series of 2021.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I give the floor to Honorable Arago.
Honorable
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have to report on the result of our committee meeting. This is of course about the adjustment again of our tricycle fare rates and the number of passengers that will be allowed from 3 passengers specified in our executive order. And lately it was requested by the mayor to readjust it again because of the clamor of our riding public that the fare rates during pandemic was too excessive for him. Sinasakripisyo na rin maiha medyo dahil ang pamasahe. So the approach, I think the riding public approach the office of the mayor, we could go back to our traditional fare rates of our own approved ordinance and changing the 3 passengers allowed to the maximum capacity of 6. So the Committee on Transportation has conducted committee meeting and public consultation attended by committee members and the Sangguniang Panlungsod members, including the city administrator, Atty. The chairman of the interagency task force, represented by Mr. Rico. The riding public representatives, composed of the barangay captains of the 9 population barangays, 1 barangay Kagawad from barangay Sabang North, and the interim federated to the president on behalf of the Tricycle Association. On January 27, 2022, the first committee meeting, 9 a.m. at the New Year's Conference Hall. And finally, on February 9, 2022, 9 a.m. at the CitySession Hall, Borongan City, Sama. Also, the agenda to it. First addendum was the amendment of Section 10 of the repealing clause of City Ordinance 166 series of 2020. A new normal ordinance regarding tricycle operation within the territorial jurisdiction of Borongan City during the COVID-19 pandemic. You will note, in ordinance number 166, this is in response to the order of the mayor to reduce an add 10 passengers from 6 to 3. Of course, adjusting the rates. And the repealing clause was stated in ordinance rules and regulations that are inconsistent hereby repealed, amended or modified accordingly, provided, however, that the chief executive, upon recommendation of the local AFF, through executive order, may implement ordinance number 165 series of 2020. As you will know, another repealing clause on ordinance number 166 does not include the provision that the chief executive, upon recommendation of local AFF, through an executive order may implement ordinance number 165. Inikunta ang amend ang ating ordinance, ang repealing clause ng ordinance 166. Kaya ang ating ordinance 165, the approved ordinance had regular fare rate of 9 pesos was set aside. Although it was approved, it was not implemented due to the pandemic. So na-set aside ito. Pag-approve ni Ordinance Number 166, setting the capacity of tricycles to 3, so what I implement an Ordinance 165. We cannot implement, even if we want to go back to 6 passengers, we cannot implement the Ordinance Number 165, setting the capacity to 6, without amending the repealing clause of Ordinance Number 166, series of 2020. Due to the fact that with the repealing clause of Ordinance 166, na-repeal ang Ordinance Number 165. So during the two committee meetings, it was suggested by no less than the administrator provide i-amend and repealing clause of Ordinance 166 with the additional provision that if ever we are going to get back to our 6 passengers and the fare rate of Ordinance 165, ibabalik ka dahan 9 pesos and sure price. A provision should be added in the repealing clause, provided, however, that the Chief Executive, upon recommendation to the local IATF, through executive order, may implement Ordinance Number 165, series of 2020. This was the topic of our committee meetings, and number 2 was the lifting. Now the lifting of executive order number 011-720, series of 2020, and all the setting of the guidelines of the modified general community quality and status of Borongan City. Assign na yung executive order 0720 and the private transportation tricycles was allowed to have only a maximum passenger capacity of 3, provided physical barriers were in place in order to secure physical contacts and avoid between passengers and the driver. So, implementation of City Ordinance Number 165, series of 2020. Ordinance now going back to our Ordinance na 165, ibabalik na punta daran and cloud war and driving public, kinokorek ang pamasayan and mahal at aktulo lang ang pwede. So, this was initiated by the Office of the Mayor. In fact, one of our agenda implementations nga pinapa-rekisa ang Ordinance Number 166 kung mapwede, may balik natin ang ating approved Ordinance 165 na wala i-implement. Setting the provisions na tag-ano yung binala ang short ride, tapos ang tag-unong na pasaheros. So, the chairman of the committee, myself, requested the representative of the IATF through Mr. Reginald James Dorico. This is the representative of Atty. Limbauan, of course, of the Mayor's Office, to give the rationale which could be the basis in lifting Executive Order 011-720, series of 2020, at nakatagtulong ang pasaheros to move back from 3 passengers, be adjusted itong pandemic metrics, nagtulong pasaheros, ang mahal ang pamasahean, that is 13 pesos assured ride. As per Ordinance Number 166, series of 2020. As to the IATF representative, Mr. James Dorico, he rationalized that the city government should have to push forward to update the city ordinance before the pandemic was considered dangerous. However, due to a vaccination program of the city government, reaching now over 90%, he recommended and concluded that the Omicron variant is not much of a threat to the reigning public as attributed by the high vaccination of the city. So, in short, he recommended for electing of the 3 passengers into going back to 6 passengers. With that information, the committee unanimously recommended for the amendment of the repairing clause, Section 10 of City Ordinance 166, Series of 2020, and adjust through an executive order to implement now Ordinance number 165, Series of 2020, which shall be subject for submission to this body, sa Sangguniang Bayan. In short, mabalik na kita na natin yung aprubaran na Ordinance number 166, number 165. There is a matrix at the in our ordinance, the number 160. Now, if you will see, the number matrix, it's 16 fair rate of approved ordinance number 165. Ito may bipisos, ang short ride, then halian ng rayo, then in-adjust ini ang ordinance number 166 because of the pandemic naging tracing. You will notice ang short ride tracing. And of course, with the 20% discount and senior citizens right side. So from the 13 pesos short ride, we go up to our 9 pesos as per ordinance, as per previously approved ordinance 165. So I leave it to the body, whatever decision.
Okay, so what's the pleasure of the body? Any comments, suggestions regarding the community? Honorable Engr.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I applaud Honorable Arago for this initiative to go back to our original fare. Since we have most of us already vaccinated and we have to move forward as stated by our IAT representative. I suggest to Honorable Arago that the first thing that we do is to have the amendment of ordinance number 166 included for first reading and approved to include the amendment of the repealing clause as explained by Honorable Arago, because although in my opinion as a lawyer it's no longer necessary, but it is very good because it will clarify more the intention of the Sangguniang. And the second one is for the Sangguniang Panlungsod to issue a resolution, maybe endorsing or encouraging our city mayor to implement ordinance number 165 so that we can already implement this new fare rates.
So this is the pre-pandemic fare.
Yes. Emotion na lang dito. Kasalanan yung emotion na lang dito.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I move that the repairing clause ordinance number 166 be amended.
Include na itatag na include na itatag calendar business and amendments.
Of course, I request to the body that the amendment, this amendment be included in our order of business.
For first reading. Second.
Objections? None? So the motion is approved. Please take note, Mr. Secretary. Go ahead, Honorable Arago.
With this, Mr. Chair,
Include include the solution. Second.
may I move for the amendment of repairing clause of ordinance number 166, series of 2020, which states that any ordinance, rules, and regulations that are inconsistent herewith are hereby repealed, amended, or modified accordingly. So, the amendment should read, any ordinance, rules, and regulations that are inconsistent herewith are hereby repealed, amended, or modified, provided, however, the Chief Executive, upon recommendation of the local IATF, through executive order, may implement ordinance number 165 series of 2020.
Second?
Second.
Any objection? None, so the motion of Honorable Arago is hereby approved. First reading.
To be included in the first reading. To continue the motion of Honorable Arago, I would like to move that we include in our order of business a resolution encouraging our city mayor to implement ordinance number 165 series of 2020 so that we can already implement our new fare.
Second. Any objection? None, so the motion is approved. Next item, Mr. Secretary.
We move on to the proposed ordinances. First, an ordinance realigning the fund amounting to 5 million from 2021 General Fund proper budget for permissions program to 2022 capital outlay, construction of H3 and laboratory building phase 1.
Honorable Presiding Officer, this agenda was submitted to our office. However, there is no attached availability of fund and certification and POW for the laboratory building phase 1 that is being proposed. I therefore move that we lay this first on the table and wait for additional documents.
Second.
Second.
Objections? None, so we lay this first on the table. Next item, Mr.
Ayun
Secretary.
naman sa
Very good.
Okay, we have the for first reading an ordinance amending section 10 repealing clause of city ordinance numbers 166 series of 2020.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I move for the inclusion of the said proposed ordinance under our new business for second reading, under second reading.
Any objection? None, motion is approved. Next item, Mr. Secretary.
An appropriation ordinance realigning the amount of 5 million originally earmarked from construction of the British Canal at Val 2 left side facing Barangay Kalinginan, Package 1, 5 million, to construction of drainage canal at Barangay Val 1 for the same amount, 5 million.
Madam Clerk.
Honorable Presiding Officer, this resolution, this proposed ordinance is in essence only a renaming of the proposed project from being a construction of drainage canal at Palad 2 to being a construction of drainage canal at Palad 1. I therefore move that we pass and approve this proposed ordinance under our for second reading.
Any objections? None, motion is approved. Next item, Mr. Secretary.
In a moment to propose resolution, first is a resolution encouraging the city mayor to implement city ordinance number 165.
1 minute, sir. Resolution. Madam Clerk.
Honorable Presiding Officer, as exhaustively explained by Honorable Arago during his committee meeting, that it was declared by our local IATF that Omicron so 165. That Omicron is no longer a threat in Borongan City. I move that the Sangguniang Panlungsod pass and approve the resolution encouraging our city mayor to implement ordinance number 165 so that our passengers will no longer be burdened with a very expensive transportation cost.
Second, any objections? None, so the resolution is hereby approved. Next item, sir.
Resolution granting authority to submit city mayor to enter a deed of donation between the city government of Borongan and the heirs of Valentina Alcabalera.
Honorable Presiding Officer,
Go ahead, Madam Clerk.
since this is a donation in favor of the government and it will not entail any financial cost on the part of the government, I therefore move that we pass and approve this resolution, granting authority to the city mayor to enter into a deed of donation with Father Roderick Rodriguez.
No, Valentina na.
Valentina Caballa.
Second? Any objection? Continue.
Resolution grant authority to the city mayor to enter the deed of donation between the city government of Borongan and Father Roderick Rodriguez.
Honorable Presiding Officer, this donation is also the same as a donation from the heirs of Valentina Caballa. This will benefit Borongan City and this will not entail any financial cost on the part of the city. I therefore move that we pass and approve this resolution, granting authority to the city mayor to enter into a deed of donation with Father Roderick Rodriguez.
Second.
Objections? None, so motion is approved. Second, Mr. Chair.
Resolution grant authority to the city mayor to negotiate and purchase portion of the lot intended as access road to and from by 5 to the residential area of Barangay Sonco from the heirs of Maria Amaya.
Honorable Presiding Officer, this resolution emanates from a resolution from the Council of Barangay Sonco requesting for financial assistance to purchase a lot to be the access road with around 12 families to be used in Barangay Sonco. I therefore move that we pass and approve this resolution granting authority to the city mayor to negotiate and purchase at a reasonable fair market value the lot of the heirs of Maria Amoyo so that it will be there will be easier access around Barangay Sonco.
Objection? None, motion is approved. Second,
Resolution granting authority to the city mayor to purchase 5 units of bus amounting to 40 million pesos for the libre sakay program of LGU Borongan City.
Honorable Presiding Officer, this resolution has a certification of the availability of funds. However, we may need clarification from our resource speaker. I therefore move that we temporarily suspend our general use of procedure so that we can propound questions to our resource speaker, Mr. Eugene Akla.
objections? None, so internal rules is hereby temporarily suspended. Okay, so the Honorable
just for clarification lang. 40 million, 5 units, so amounting 8 million each.
Okay, I would like to read the specification of the bus. It is, I think, 42 or 49 seaters, 2x2 seating configuration, utility buses to accommodate as much of this bus of our targeted passengers at yung mga PWD, students, senior citizen, and our tourists. These buses will be specially designated to accommodate the needs of the passengers. The buses will include features for safety, comfort, and convenience. They will have a speed limiter which will prevent the driver from exceeding the speed limit. So may niya speed limiter. Kung nag-i-exceed naman niya ito na medyo nahinay. Electronically controlled suspension, which main purpose is to adapt the suspension of the car into driving conditions, taking account the speed, surface of the road, cornering, stopping requirements, and acceleration. So as it in especially design niya, kaya medyo may mga corner kita din eh. So especially designed for our topography. It has an anti-lock brakes which offers an important safety advantage by preventing the wheels from locking during emergency braking situations, allowing drivers to maintain control over steering and operate vehicles more effectively. Seat belts for both the drivers and passengers, warning alarm and fire extinguisher. All 5 buses will have air conditioning system and reclining seats for comfort of the passengers. They will also have manually operated wheelchair ramp for easy boarding and alighting of senior citizen and wheelchair-bound PWD passengers. And to while away the time, its bus will have touchscreen television in front, radio and stereo. So ito yung mga pati natin lang palitan na bus.
Continue, Honorable mga brand new buses.
Brand new buses.
So, ano kayo, Honorable Arago? So this is brand new. Honorable Arago, you have questions regarding the bus?
On the funding. Because our produce funding for this was for the car. I think everybody knows it. 20 million lang ang funding. 10. And then it grows up to 40 million pesos. Now, how could we fund the additional?
There's a certification of the availability of funds from the city accountant. From the Mayor's Office Capital Outlay in the Annual Budget of 2022.
Okay. Because I was not supplied with this information, so I was asking. So it's very clear now that it's fully funded.
So no problem with funding. So any more questions? Before we excuse our first person. Go ahead.
Honorable Presiding Officer, right now, an ordinance for libre sakay, very pa man niya approved, di ba? So, I am not against approving itong resolution, pero isn't it better if we approve first our ordinance para makita naman, mas talihan kung itong exact budget before approving the resolution.
What's the pleasure of the body? What interest? Okay, so as stated by our Honorable Arago, continue, Honorable Arago. Okay, as stated by Honorable Arago, that the ordinance will be in accordance with the new public transport that the Mayor is proposing na mai-implement po tayo. Sige, so any more questions? Okay na?
So, I assure the Office of the Mayor na diri haabutan itong aton pagkakisa ang draft ordinance. It's possible na lamang provisions na
the target is not diri kita mabutan ng March 25. So the target is ma-procure niya, mahagi procurement process within next week. Within next week kasi pag diri na niya mahagi procurement process next week, wala na, imposible na talaga makaabot in March 25 kaya may naman posting timelines.
Anyway, pwede na siguro kung kapalitin.
I think I have to call a committee meeting regarding this ordinance. Maybe Monday or Tuesday para umabot ito yung just in time for our which decision.
Yes.
Monday or Tuesday.
Okay.
To facilitate, to hassle the procurement.
Sige. Okay, that's good. So, kaya pa? Kaya na? Okay na? So, Madam Secretary.
Honorable Presiding Officer, since there are no more queries or questions regarding this agenda, I move that we lift the suspension of certain rules of procedure so that we can proceed with our session.
Second, any objections? None, so the temporary suspension of our internal rules is invited. Madam Secretary.
Honorable Presiding Officer, after listening to the answers of Sir Eugito and also the information from our chairman of the Committee on Transportation as will be pointed out by Honorable Anacta. I move that we lay this first on the table pending the committee meetings regarding the ordinance on libre sakayan, but hopefully up to our next session.
I want to be specific. I call a committee meeting on Monday.
Okay. So is everybody on the committee on transport, please coordinate with the chairman. Okay. Any second? Any objections? None, so we need this person on the table. Next item, sir.
Resolution granting authority to the city mayor to purchase 3 unit utility vans for the city mayors and BPLO to serve as utility service vehicles for the implementation of the city government social services and for inspection of business establishments, tax mapping, and revenue generation programs amounting to 2,367,636.
Madam Clerk.
Honorable Presiding Officer, this agenda has a certificate of availability of fund signed by a city accountant for the purchase of 3 units of utility van.
Do you have any questions from the other members?
I just want to manifest that I've been requesting the office of the mayor a vehicle for our traffic management unit, which he agreed. In fact, we need really a vehicle for the traffic enforcement. Mahirap po din eh. Di man gani mahal kay multi-cab po yun. Para lang maging efficient nila ito talaga traffic supervision nila. They really need a vehicle. Pero possible, mahirap po din eh. I don't know what's your opinion on body. Because if it's really kung pagkita, services itong city government at kanang BPLO, the same thing with the department itong atong traffic, kinahanglanin doon talaga. Due to the fact that kulang nga niktan traffic enforcers, makaka-augment talaga yung vehicle ng kasunod with sound system. 500,000 might be too much of money na. Multi-cab, second hand, would only cost siguro wala 200,000. Plus, a very simple sound system, ako hindi pag-iyanan.
Anyway, this tutulungan niya mga units, maybe we can lobby with the mayor, may tumayatan na yata na traffic. Siguro, pwesto rin ang talaga mayor.
Yeah, initially, pag ilan niya gawin mo kami yung nag-agriya, marami nga ni second hand na nag-mayor ng multi-cab, even same na, ay ano mga second hand, dinarapang ko. Remind me kung pwede. Nakikita ko talaga at problematic ito natin traffic enforcers because of black vehicle.
Sige. So, about the other numbers? Madam Clerk.
Honorable Presiding Officer, since Honorable Arago still has a pending request that we may lobby to our city mayor for sure he will be amenable to, or he will listen to the request of our Honorable Sangguniang Panlungsod member. I therefore move that we lay this person on the table also to give time for us to lobby for the purpose of giving another transportation vehicle to our traffic enforcers.
No objections? None? So, motions approved. We'll lay this person on the table.
So, before dispensing, Mr.
Time out na.
Recess. Session resume. Next item, Mr. Secretary.
Review barangay annual budget to barangay B for calendar year 2020.
Madam Clerk.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I move that we refer the matter to the Committee on Finance chaired by yours truly for further discussions.
Second. Any objections? None, so refer to the Committee on Finance. Next item, Mr.
Review barangay annual budget to barangay Sabang North.
Madam Clerk.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I move that we refer the matter to the Committee on Finance chaired by yours truly for further discussions.
Second. Any objections? None, so refer to the Committee on Finance. Next item.
Review barangay annual budget to barangay Sorok.
Madam Clerk.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I move that we refer the matter to the Committee on Finance chaired by yours truly for further discussions.
Refer to the Committee on Finance. Next Next item.
Business for the day, you have ordinances for second reading. First is a proposed ordinance amending section 10 of ordinance number 166 series of 2020.
The floor is yours.
Honorable Presiding Officer, the reason for the amendment of Section 10 was exhaustively discussed by Honorable Arago to clarify the intention of the Sangguniang Panlungsod that Ordinance 166 is only for purposes of implementation during pandemic and not to repeal Ordinance number 165. I therefore move that we pass and approve this proposed ordinance on second reading.
And the second, any objections? None, so the proposed ordinance is hereby approved on second reading. Next,
Honorable Presiding Officer, I move that we include under our new business for third reading the proposed ordinance amending Section 10 of the City Ordinance number 166.
any second? Any objections? None, so motion is approved. Next item, Mr. Secretary.
For second reading is appropriation ordinance, construction of drainage canal at Barangay Balud 2 to be transferred to construction to Balud 1.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I move that we pass this ordinance on second reading as this only involves renaming or a relocation of the project from Balud 1 to Balud 2.
Any second? Any objections? None, so motion is approved.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I move that we include this proposed appropriation ordinance under our business for third reading.
Second? Any objections? None, motion is approved. Next item, Mr. Secretary.
Ordinance is for third reading, a proposed ordinance amending section 10 of ordinance number 166 series of 2020 and the appropriation ordinance for the change of drainage canal from Balud to Balud 1. And the next item is adjournment.
Any announcements from other members? Right, so adjournment. Madam Clerk.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I move for the adjournment of our 122nd regular session.
Any objections? None, so the 122nd regular session is now adjourned. Salamat.